Now, on a typical day, I write code in three different languages. So in the morning, when I start my day, I write code in Node.js. When I'm done with Node.js, I write code in Groovy, and I also write code in Java. So this is something that I have been doing for quite a while now. Actually, I'm learning Node.js. I have never really uh, spent time building anything great with Node.js, but I have taken it seriously now, and I am now trying to build a project. When I learn a new language, I always make sure that I create something that I can also deploy and share with the whole world. And that is why I am building some small side projects. But at the same time, I have to write code in Groovy. I also enjoy writing code and developing apps using Java. And all I wanted to say in this video is that in case you are thinking of learning two or maybe three languages at the same time, don't be afraid of doing that. You can definitely learn two languages. I think you can easily learn two languages at the same time. I know it can be a bit frustrating in the beginning when you are, let us say, using two different IDEs maybe. For example, for Node.js, I use Visual Studio Code. For Groovy and Java, I use IntelliJ. And I try not to write code in four different languages at the same time. I also can write code in PHP and Swift, for example. So I try not to cross the limit of three because I think three is probably the right number of languages that I can manage on a typical day. I know people who can do probably more, but I think three is fine for me. And to be honest, if we talk about Groovy and Java, they are quite similar. I mean, of course, it is a bit different in Groovy. Groovy is definitely simpler, quicker, and you can do different things. And you can actually do things easily in Groovy in less lines of code. But I am not really afraid of starting my day writing code in totally different IDE and building something totally different. Uh, this is something that I believe you can also try, and in fact, it is now a requirement these days. If you are a developer, I don't think you need to be like very good in just one thing. You need to be decent, or I would say good in at least couple of different technologies, and that actually means some level of proficiency in few programming languages. It is also good for your career because if you are good in a couple of languages, you have more chances to get the job that you wanted to basically work for companies where you may want to work, or maybe you can do freelancing, or maybe you can start your own business or company. So it is always good, in my opinion, to have a decent or good level of understanding when it comes to programming languages. And when it comes to learning these languages, at the same time, you can definitely read books, you can definitely do the online courses. But as I mentioned before, if you are building something, maybe a project, then that actually is the best motivation to keep you going. I make sure that every day I write some small piece of code or I learn something. And whenever I write piece of code, I make sure that I share it if I can on maybe GitHub, or maybe I commit the changes so that every day it gives me this sense of achievement when I can feel that I have deployed my code somewhere. It can be maybe just a small function or maybe a few lines of code, But when you do these things regularly, consistently, then you will always be in touch with these languages. So don't be afraid of learning two or maybe three languages at the same time. It can actually be really good for you. So this is all I wanted to share in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.